If you're trying to decide which community platform is right for you, today I'm going to be comparing Circle and Mighty Networks. I'm Natalie Lucier, founder of Access Ally, which is a WordPress-based online course and membership solution for scaling entrepreneurs. So if you already have an online course, then a lot of times I think the recommendation is to just add on a forum or a community and keep your courses where they are. And I'll be sharing some other options for you at the end of this video, but I think Circle really fits the bill when it comes to this. Now, on the other hand, if you want to have everything under one roof and you want to have courses, memberships, and community in one place, then Mighty Networks is where this shines. And I'm going to dive into all the specific and all the details of what makes each best in each of these categories. But let's first take a look at some of the biggest differences. To me, the biggest differences come into the user experience and the user interface when you log into these sites. So when it comes to Circle, I really like it. It feels like a mix of Slack and a forum because it's organized with different channels, and obviously you can organize those the way that you want, but it's also very visual. So you have a feed and then you also have each of the different channels that you can go into. And the interface is very clean, it's very intuitive. Anyone who's used any social network will not be surprised by how this works. Now for Mighty Networks, on the other hand, because they're trying to do so much and have memberships and courses and everything under the sun, including their community and chats and all of that, it can really be a little bit overwhelming for a new user. And I really am not a huge fan of the pop-out that comes out as you click on different items. I think it's a little bit confusing, and what I really like about Circle is how everything is just right down the middle and it doesn't really pop out or do all kinds of different little movements and changes. Now, Mighty Networks really brands itself as having your own social network and your own Facebook, essentially, where it's completely branded on your terms. You design it and you make it look exactly how you want it to look, and then you control everything in your own network. There's no ads from a social media site, and you're not competing with other communities and other platforms. And I think they've done a really great job. You've got events, you've got live streaming in there, you've got all kinds of great interactions and group chats and all of that. And I will say that from my experience, Mighty Network sites tend to be more active than the ones I've seen on Circle. And I think that also really comes down to who is curating and leading those communities. So I don't want to say that the platform dictates how people use it, but I do think that from my experience, Mighty Network communities tend to be a little bit more lively and active. But that goes hand in hand with having a little bit too many notifications. And so if you're trying to go through an online course inside of Mighty Networks and somebody pings you on a comment that you left on somebody else's thread, it might take you away from the course and the online learning experience. So I do feel like it's a double-edged sword. It's great because it's more active. You see those notifications just like you would on a social network site. But at the same time, if you are trying to do focused work and learning inside of that same environment, it could be a little bit of a distractor. Now, I haven't seen too many people put courses inside of a Circle community, but I think it's possible if you really wanted to go there and just make them essentially as posts. So you could have posts that would be gated content, for example. And the thing with both platforms is that you can take payments in both instances, and both of them do it through Stripe. So that's something that is great if you don't want to have a different payment processor or checkout tool. But at the same time, it comes with some limitations, right? So you might not have as much flexibility for how you want to manage those payments. If you want to change anything like, the next time somebody gets billed, or if you want to add a coupon for someone after they already signed up, or if you also want to give people a pause and a resume on their membership. There's all these things that are a little bit outside of the scope of these tools for right now. And also, if you want to take multiple currencies, you really want to take a look at whether or not this is going to work. So Mighty Networks does handle multiple currencies. At the moment, Circle does not. But you also want to be aware that Mighty Networks takes some fees on top of the payments that you are getting processed through them. So I want to also caution you when you are considering these things, there are options out there that use Stripe and that do not charge additional fees, like Access Ally, when you are taking payments. So I highly recommend that if you are a little bit more fee conscious and you want to make sure that you keep as much of the profit as possible out of the sales of your communities and online courses. Now let's take a look at pricing. So when it comes to Mighty Networks, there are no limits to the number of members or the number of spaces or communities that you want to create within your one Mighty Network site. Now Circle, on the other hand, does have limitations. So you do have to upgrade from certain plans as you have more members or as you want to add more administrators. So that's something to keep keep in mind is you may need to move up as your community grows. And that's one of those things that's just tricky. On the one hand, I understand why they do that, because as a business grows, it helps the original business like Circle do better because they have more higher paying clients. But at the same time, you don't want to be penalized for your own growth. You want to be able to grow and keep those profits for all of your efforts. So the cool thing with both platforms is that they both allow you to go live on video inside of those platforms, a lot like a Facebook Live. And also they have mobile apps. So if you want to give people the option of bringing you on their phone wherever they go, then you can do that. And that is probably one of the biggest benefits and reasons why I think these communities can be a little bit more active, is a lot like Facebook. People can check them during their downtime if they're waiting for something and they're not at home in front of their computer. And at the moment, Mighty Networks allows you to do all the administrative things on your phone, on your app, whereas Circle does not let you do the administrative things. They kind of treat you as a user when you're on that app. Now, another thing to keep in mind is if you wanted a fully branded app that does not mention Mighty Networks or Circle, then Mighty Networks offers that premium higher end full customization of your own app. And I don't think it's for everyone because it is very pricey, but it is something to consider if you are that higher end brand that wants that full branding power. Now let's talk about direct messages. So you can definitely send direct messages in both apps, but with Mighty Networks, you can do small groups for direct messages as well. So you can do essentially little group chats. Now let's take a look at a few more details and you'll see them in action. So this is an example of a Circle site run by copy hackers, and it's called the Copy Quad. So this is when you join their premium copy hackers training program and you get access to this amazing place. So here is what Circle looks like as a member. So again, you can have different settings, you can have different notifications that you want to enable or not. You can also see you have notifications up here, and then you have direct chat that you could have with other members. And then you have more profile and notification settings up top here. You'll notice that overall Circle does have a little bit cleaner of a feel. You have your search bar, you have your get started, and basically this is your feed with the main posts and things that are highlighted or pinned up here. And then you've got the different channels essentially. So these are the welcome channels, and then you've got the specific channels here. So here I can come in, and it's a lot more like Slack if you're familiar with that, where you could have different topics organized through these channels, and you can kind of come in here and respond and see what's going on, like and comment. So it feels a little bit more like Facebook as well. So you can see there's a lot that's been kind of borrowed or learned from these other social media platforms and community platforms. And you can see here our little notifications will tell us if there are any posts that we've missed or haven't responded to or checked out yet. You can also see all of the members, and you'll see, it's very straightforward. You can add your own links to, for example, a login to your course, for example, because it is not hosted usually on a Circle site. And you can see here we have all kinds of ways to interact with the likes and the comments, and things can be threaded as well. So it's just a really great platform. It's a little bit more bare bones. So you can see if you are creating a new post, you can also do a video or an image or a GIF or an attachment. And this here is for a little bit of formatting to your posts. So that allows you to make really nice looking posts on your Circle site. So people could add a cover image to their post and some titles and also format it beautifully. And that can also improve engagement. So for example, this one had a little header image and some links and all kinds of things like that too. So this is Circle. It's nice and clean and a little bit more of a minimalist type of platform when you compare it to Mighty Networks. And if that's the vibe you're looking for, if you want to keep it simple for your members, if you don't want them to be confused by courses and other things all in one place, then Circle is a great way to go. And it's a great way to integrate with your existing online course platform if you do have one. So here's an example of a Mighty Network site that I'm a part of, Eat at Work by the amazing Dynasty Hunt, who I absolutely love and highly recommend her program. So definitely go and check her out at dynastyhunt.com. But here is a little bit of what it looks like. So you can have your personal feed. You can also show everything from your hosts. You can do sort by last activity, by popular, by date created. You can see different sub-communities within a Mighty Network. You can also show what's popular and what is currently happening and what's been posted recently. You can also go through the discovery area. So these are things that are kind of highlighted or featured by the people who are running the Mighty Network, which is great. You can also find out more about the Mighty Network. And this is kind of the thing that I was saying where it pops out to the side that I'm not a huge fan of, but that is kind of still within the site, which is nice. So it doesn't take you away from the page that you were on. So there's pros and cons to that. And here you can see we can have different topics. So I love how you can have different topics and different conversations around these certain topics. So you can kind of keep things a little bit more organized within your Mighty Network. And you can also go ahead and do a quick post, an article, or a question or a poll. So there's a lot that you can do within a Mighty Network like this. Now here we have communities. So these are kind of sub-communities within the whole Mighty Network site, which I think is a great way to organize into subgroups essentially. And then for mini workshops, so this is where you would have courses, for example. So if we are talking about this, so we were a part of the Equity Accelerator, and you can see here we have our overview, and then we have the welcome, and then all of the different sessions that we had for our course. So you can see here, it pops open over the rest of the course. You can also mark as complete. So once you get through things, you can also ask questions or share thoughts on a course. And this is a great way to also, if you want to expand to full, you can see all of the sessions and all of the things within a course, for example. And that makes it a little bit easier and less distracting because there is a lot going on a Mighty Network site, and there are a lot of these notifications that can pop up. There's also the chat that could be happening with other people in the Mighty Networks, and you can also be posting at any time. So it's great to have that option. Now for navigation, you can see we're kind of in this sub mini workshop essentially. So to go back, we have an activity feed within this course, for example, and events within this course. So you can kind of keep things organized if you are running courses on your Mighty Network. And then going back to the main network here is where we can see other things that we have going on. You can also see who else is online, and you can do a ton of other stuff here. So you can also invite other people to join if you have this option enabled. And you can see these are kind of featured updates here that Mighty Networks has. And then you can also see that we can upload images or create a poll, and then you can add it to a specific topic. So this is kind of Mighty Networks in a nutshell. Both Mighty Networks and Circle are amazing options, and I feel like they are developing very quickly. They both have a lot of momentum behind them, and they are a hosted platform. So that means you are putting your community and your courses inside of a hosted platform that you do not own yourself. So it's a lot like building on rented land. And eventually maybe the landlord might raise prices or change something that you don't like. So I always prefer recommending to build on your own land if you can. And it obviously depends on where you're at in your business, if you're just starting out or if you have the funds to build something fully custom the way you want it. And that's where Access Ally and Community Ally really shine, because you can build everything on your own WordPress site, design it down to a T exactly the way that you want it, and then still have that great communication piece happening alongside your courses, your membership, and your coaching programs. Right now, Community Ally is only available to our early adopters as we're building up more of these features. So we can't really compare Community Ally to Circle or Mighty Networks right now because it's only available to our early adopters. And that means that we're still working on a lot of these features. But if you already have a WordPress site or you use Access Ally and you don't want to have that dreaded not another login problem where people have to log in somewhere else for their forum, log in somewhere else for their courses, then Access Ally and Community Ally together is a great solution. And I will put a link below if you want to find out more about it. Now that you have a bit more information when we're comparing Mighty Networks and Circle, and if you were on a Facebook group, find out how to move your Facebook group to one of these platforms or Community Ally way easier without losing any members. So watch the next video all about that right now. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more of these videos that compare tech tools to help you scale online.